We'll talk very little about what makes good art and what makes bad art. There are things to talk about that are worth talking about. There are very few definite conclusions to be drawn about them that aren't debatable. So we're not going to spend a lot of time and energy going there. We may, in subsequent classes or discussion groups, we may in our ongoing Facebook page talk about exactly those questions, because those are real questions and legitimate questions. Our focus is not going to be on what makes a story good or bad. We're not going to focus on this is a better story than that story. Now, most of us have stories we like better than others, and there are a whole wide swath of reasons why. Some of them are merely personal and pure taste. Some of them are because associations we have with something. I like Mary Poppins because I was a little kid when it came out and it was exciting and it was really fun, and I got to learn to try to talk with a little accent. If you won't scodo, dominatos. I thought it was fun to talk like that. England was so foreign and so forth. It was really exciting to me as a little kid when that came out. That's an association that's not exactly inherent in the movie, and that's legitimate to have. That's neither good nor bad in itself. And we can certainly identify that there are certain things that apply to broader spectrums of people, or that apply to us for longer periods in our lives. Some people I know, I won't name any names, who were piano players for a while, and when Barry Manilow came out and it was this beautiful romantic music and an actual piano player, were excited about Barry Manilow. I'm not naming any names who was a big Barry Manilow fan, who grow out of Barry Manilow at a certain point, whether you liked him or not, whether you're embarrassed about it in retrospect or not. Others, not so much. In fact, some are acquired taste. You learn to like some things over time. Our taste and our reactions to things are complicated. We'll partly talk about some of that. We'll also talk about some of the differences. Some of the recent Disney movies, as an example. Let's pick Frozen, which I think I think Disney does amazing stuff. Disney's amazing. The literary structure of Frozen is neither more nor less complex than Cinderella or Chaucer or Shakespeare or Pixar movies. Disney has certain things going on in that are different than what Pixar has going on in it, and I feel, my kids feel, I don't know, and I agree with them, maybe they're getting it from me, many of my kids feel Disney movies are just kind of flatter. They like them, they think they're good, but they don't come back to them. They're not part of their lives in the same way. They don't hold on to ideas and characters. They don't arise in the midst of crisis. It's not Frozen that comes to mind. It's Toy Story. It's Wall-E. It's Ratatouille. It's the Pixar movies. And we can speculate about why. One reason why, I think very definitely from the reading what people have said about how they create those movies. Disney creates their movies to create a product, and a very saleable product. And they start really with a mindset that kids are consumers and not necessarily very bright consumers. Kids are, just kids. And that comes out. That comes out in their stories. You get that sense. You get the sense that there are jokes that are meant for the parents that they don't expect the kids to get in Disney. Pixar movies, on the other hand, I don't think do that. I don't find those. I don't see where there's the little off-color joke that the parents are supposed to get, the kids don't. I don't see any difference if you were making Ratatouille for 6-year-olds or 60-year-olds. I think you'd make it the same. The brilliance of Ratatouille is that it's a story, and the focus is on the story. Of course Pixar's aware of whether or not it's going to sell. Of course they are. They're not dopes. But ultimately they're going to find a story and then sell it. Disney's going to say, here's what's going to sell. Let's do that. Of course that's overly simplifying, and that sounds like I'm insulting Disney. And who am I to say those dopes at Disney? That's not what I'm saying. But you do have a sense, and what you read about them is this incredible commitment on the part of Pixar. From day one, we are going to tell beautiful stories, period. Not kid stories. Stories. Because what's the difference between a kid story and a grown-up story? There really isn't one. Most of the stories that are the most grown up, as in they're stories that you couldn't tell your kids, you wouldn't want them to see or watch, have less in them that really connects to us. They're trying to nudge, nudge, wink, wink at us. They're trying to say, hey, at least you're not a kid. My sense often is that a lot of movies that are trying to be grown-up movies feel to me the most juvenile. That's my reaction. And whether they're comedies that are full of racy hoopla about this or that, I don't watch very many, thankfully. So, maybe my experience is limited. But I can't imagine someone going back to these sort of grungy comedies over and over and seeing how they matter to them. But Pixar? Yeah, Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, there's profundity there. Yes, of course, there are movies full of, you're not ready yet to see violence of this level or something like that. It's when things are added to make it feel grown up that movies seem to me the least grown up.